start recording. Just want to welcome, do I say it Danielle? Is that how I say it? Because South Africa, sometimes I mispronounce.
Danielle, Dan, Danny.
Meet D. Sometimes I just get it wrong with my accent, especially Karens and Karens, because we seem to say Karen in South Africa. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. And Danny is going to give us a little presentation at the end about this review software, which I found really interesting. But, for me to explain it would just be absolutely ridiculous. So instead, I've invited her to come along and rather share it with you anyway to find out how it is, because I thought it's pretty cool. It sounds pretty cool, and it's actually really cheap, which is a big surprise as well. And we all know how important it is to get testimonials. And for what I've seen from it, which is called Perfect Review, it looks really easy for the customer. Like, it follows all the things that I continually talk about, which is getting the review on the spot and making it super easy for the client. And this does it just like that. So I'm pretty interested in it. So I thought I'd share it with you. Cool. So let's just start with wins. We always start with wins at the beginning of the session. I do apologize if there's a bit of drilling in that going on. We're busy concreting at the moment. They're just trying to beat the storm that's about to come in. So we'll start with our wins. Firstly, I got a Thermomix. So I have been baking banana bread, chocolate cake. I've been making cocktails. So I might be double the size that I am next week if I continue with this thing. But I've got a Thermomix, so it's pretty cool. Last week I was also featured in Fox, NBC, and CBS as well. Just so you know, guys, it is a paid thing. It's called it's called an advertorial. An advertorial is when you pay to be advertised on their platform, but you get the recognition. They put you across all their socials. It helps with your Google. It helps with your SEO. It's not that expensive. I think it was $250. So if anybody is interested in doing that, I can hook you up with somebody who organized that for me. But I don't like to lie or act like these things don't happen all on their own. But $250 was the investment, so it's not that much, but certainly worth it. Thanks to Jim, who gave me a whipping again, who kept saying that I have to get .com and register .com. So I did email Jen and say, please register .com before Jim kills me. So that was my email to Jen that she got, which is awesome. Although I found out she's not working this morning because she had to go and get groceries because she's in Brisbane and because of the lockdown. So I said to her, don't forget to get toilet and wine, the essentials. Thank you to Sashwa. I had a session with her last week, was feeling particularly flat, and she was able to lift me right up again, which was absolutely awesome. So thank you to Sashwa for that. Sometimes it's the little things that you forget about. And this is why it's so important to have coaches in your life, like good people around you, because you're all there to support and encourage and motivate each other, and you're not all indestructible. So, which it's really, really cool. I'd like to thank Jody as well. She couldn't make it today because she is teaching, but Jody has been helping me put my planner and workbook on Amazon. Basically, I'm just too busy to do it. So I reached out to her and said, would you mind helping me? Because she always does such a good job with her blogs and her writing. And she's been working behind the scenes to put it up for me. So I'm so incredibly grateful. I'm a little bit reluctant. What my goal is to give it to you at cost, because Amazon actually prints the books and sends them out. So I will reduce the amount and give it to you at cost, and I'll let you know. But to tell you the truth, I wanted to receive one in person first and check it out before I do that, because I just don't know how it's going to look in real life. So I'm just waiting. And as soon as mine arrives, I will do that. So don't buy it. I know you're all tempted to. Don't. I see you all opening and clicking through, because I stalk you through my CRM. So I see you doing it, but just hold off. I will give it to you at cost. I do not expect to make money off it from you guys, but I just want to check it and just see if there's any edits or anything that I've got to do first. So thank you to Sally, who's jumped on as well. I took advantage of the cruise special. So I'm going on a cruise, although mine's been delayed till June 2022. But because it was so incredibly cheap, I don't care. They did say they'll give you full money back, but I've said I'm happy to let the money stay there, because I'll never get a cruise at that price again. So if you want to come cruising with me, let Sally know. And you can come cruising with us. We're going from Brisbane to Airlie Beach. Okay, cool. Have I thanked everybody? Cool. So I do have some questions regarding my own business. And actually, Sashwa said to me it was probably a good idea. And it was kind of in my gut. I was kind of feeling that this is something I should ask everyone. But for a while now, I've been not so happy about the Facebook strategy title that I have. And you know how I feel about rebranding and changing, but it has been 5 to 6 years now that I've had that title. And let me tell you why. Firstly, my business has expanded since doing Facebook. I now have my social media marketing diploma. I do social media as well. And a lot of what I do is email marketing strategies. So it's basically being able to automate all your social medias, but put your offer together, take pricing online, do your email marketing and retargeting. So there's just so much more there. And to tell you the truth, I'm just sick and tired of when people can't reach out to Facebook and they can't speak to someone, they tag me and I get bothered because they say, hey, my profile's been blocked. Please, can you fix this for me? And it's all the yucky stuff that I don't like doing, which is the techie stuff it's not my thing anyway. Like I can do it, but it just sucks anyway. And I don't really enjoy doing it. It's really, really horrible trying to get into lost people's accounts and trying to recover things. And, and what I do is different. So I like the strategy part of it. But I just thought, who better to ask than for you that all know me? Like if you were searching or if there was a title that you saw, and also would it make sense if I suddenly changed to something? What would make sense if I did change to something? So I have thought of two things. And the one was social media marketing strategist. And the other one was online marketing strategist. So if anyone has any feedback, I would really appreciate it. And I am going to say one thing. Firstly, for yourselves, please be careful who you take advice from. I'm asking you for advice and I'm open to what it is that you're going to say. And I'm sure you won't be offended if I don't choose what it is, but I'm grateful for your advice and I'm going to listen to it and take it as feedback. We have to be careful when we're engaging on Facebook that we don't take advice from people we don't know, because we don't know their intention or where it's coming from or if it's even valid. On Friday, I had a business coach who I pay to be in their group and get advice. I asked for feedback and she publicly slammed me in front of about 200 people, like slammed me, completely slammed me into the ground and made fun of me, was derogatory and actually gave me no input or feedback at all. After a while, I breathed and I was okay, semi-okay with it. Made me realize that I'm not that type of person, which is great. Maybe question whether or not I want to continue to be in that group or pay someone to be there. The person did come back the next day and then did offer a bit of feedback, but not after she had publicly like trashed me, which is hectic. And I would never do that to you, publicly. It was terrible. But anyway, and I think she actually would have looked like a dick to everyone else. Personally, I think anybody else who looked at it would have gone, you're a dick. You shouldn't have done that. So for whatever reason, that's what she did. But the reason I'm saying this is just be careful who you get advice from, okay? But in saying that, I am going to ask you for advice. What feedback do you have if I was to change my name from a free Facebook marketing strategist or social? Like what feedback do any of you have? Please go for it.
I'll put my hand up. Can I
go, Jay?
All right. So I love this. I'm really glad that you've actually brought it to the forefront. I never refer to you as my Facebook strategist. I always refer to you as my business coach. And I would lean more towards online strategist or online strategist?
Social media strategist.
Yeah, over social media, because when I think of one-on-ones that we've had, they have been very customer and email related. And what am I saying in emails, on social media, in anything? And I think whether social media is still being a little bit too narrow, like you're doing a brilliant job covering all aspects, but email is not social media.
Yeah.
And there's been at least 50% of what you've said to me has been email, my database related, and also website. That would be my 2 cents.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Jim.
Yeah, well, I'm with Jane on that. Absolutely. I had a conversation with someone the other day. I'm desperately trying to remember who. I think it was possibly Gail. and I had the conversation about the fact that your business, if I go back a little bit further, I have a feeling I sent you an email about this, about you changing in your business. But anyway, that was my prediction. Smart ass. And but I had this conversation and I said, well, the thing about Chantal's program is that it's no longer just Facebook. If you look back, even just, I mean, obviously Jane's talking about one-on-ones, and I can see that very, very much so. But even if you just look back on our Monday sessions, if you look at the subject matter of our Monday sessions for the last, I don't know, probably the last 2 or 3 months, you've covered all sorts of things that are not Facebook related, but not necessarily social media. So I certainly think the social media title has to go, because it doesn't describe the comprehensive options that you have. I mean, I'm desperately trying to think of them, but there was a session on coin. What's that got to do with social media? You've talked about email. You've talked about databases. You've talked about websites. You've talked about customer service, which, yes, is associated with your social media, but it's a really, really important aspect. The follow-up isn't always going to be through social media. In fact, how often have you said, get them off Facebook and make sure your follow-up is you ring them or you email them or whatever. There is so much more that you're offering in the way of a business coach, which is what you're actually, in my opinion, that's what you're actually providing, that I just don't see that you should have social media even mentioned in there. Or it could be a subheading, perhaps. It could be one of the bullet points that's there of the areas that you cover. But your overall title, you don't want to restrict yourself, in my opinion. I'm with Jane all the way.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Thanks for the feedback. Anybody else got anything to say? Adrian?
Yes, so I was just thinking about when I come to Facebook Classroom. So it's exactly what Jim and Jane has said. It's not really Facebook Classroom because we do a little bit of Facebook, but there's a hell of a lot of everything else thrown in. So yeah, go for it. Change your name, baby.
Yeah, I suppose
Actually,
I
just thought it might have been a conversation I had with Adrian. I can't. Well, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, and I think for me, I want the differentiation to be that I don't do paid advertising, because that's the other thing that I keep getting bogged down for. And you know, I don't want to be. I don't want to get involved in the ad side of things. So. And yeah, for some reason, business coaches, it's just not sitting well with me, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's just me or, yeah, that's just not sitting with me. So that's why I thought of online marketing strategist. But then, you know, they're going to come to me and go, well, ads, and I'm just going to go, well, don't do ads. So,
But when you say no, I don't do ads, you say I don't need to do ads.
Yeah, and I do say that. I say, well,
Yeah.
you got to do me before you do ads anyway. So
yeah,
yeah, because if you don't get
that's the other thing that drew me to you in the first place, was that you were talking about making your presence known online without actually paying for advertising. So yeah, keep it in the positive of no ads required.
I love that. Thank you, Jane. I've got online with ads. I like that as a saying.
Chantal, do you have your own domain name? Just Chantal Gerardy.
ChantalGerardy.com.au, and from today I should have .com.
Okay, all right, because I was in a boot camp over the weekend, and at the end of it they were talking about the future, and profile economy came up. So I thought that was actually quite interesting. Just want to share that with you all. Something to think about.
Yeah, excellent. And share some, if you've got anything valuable, Adrian, share it in the VIP group. So give us your 10 things that you learned, or, 10 great things to consider. We'd love to hear from you with that. So please share it in the VIP group. All right, cool. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, guys, for the feedback. I really do appreciate it. So let's get into the juicy stuff. So firstly, Bitmoji. Bitmoji is the little avatar that I use, and Jody uses it in her marketing as well. And as of last week with Bitmoji, you can now write your own sayings. So before, you would have to just put in a saying and it would say whatever was, sayings. But now if you have your own sayings or your own mission statements, you can now actually make those with your avatar, your Bitmoji avatar. Why do I like Bitmoji over the Facebook client, the Facebook avatar? Because when you're on Facebook, there's a Facebook avatar. When you go to Snapchat, there's a Snapchat avatar. So when you're in different places, there's different avatars. They don't all look like the same person. So the branding, there's branding inconsistencies, whereas Bitmoji is everywhere. Once you have it on your keyboard, on your computer, your Bitmoji can be in Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, anywhere, and it's the same place. In saying that, you know how I feel, how Bitmoji may not be suitable for all your brands. Although I'd love to see a Bitmoji of Jim just for kicks and giggles. So it's very interesting to see how people make themselves. I got my daughters to make mine. Cool. So that was Bitmoji. Secondly, Jody just posted inside the group as well that apparently there's a new group chat feature now. So you might see a little pop up in Facebook groups called a group chat. For me, it looks like basically you can form a messenger chat with members inside the group to be able to message them. Haven't used it myself, literally just saw it right now. But to me, it sounds like the rooms feature where you can kind of put everybody into a group chat in there. Whenever these things happen, test it, get someone else in the group and just say, hey, listen, can we test this out? The next one, Facebook pin posts on your personal profile. Yes, it is. So Jane said she didn't have it. Now, remember with rollouts, okay, when something gets rolled out, it is different. People get rolled out in different batches. In fact, right now, there's even a different look of Facebook page at the moment where people are freaking out because your business page looks like a personal profile. So people are going, what? The new Facebook page looks exactly like a personal profile and is freaking people out, and they cannot find settings and they cannot find anything else. But it seems like there's only a select few people that have got that look. Sandy Forster is one of them, and then I've got one or two other clients as well. So, but you've got to know where you are, right? Know where you are. And that's why I like to have your personal profile picture different on your business page and on your personal profile, so you know where you are when you're posting. So Jane may not have got it yet, and it is a bit weird because when you go to post it, you've actually got to post it first, create the post it in your personal profile, then go to the top 3 dots on the right-hand side to edit the post. And where you go to edit the post, it says pin post, and you can post it to the top of your personal profile. So what do I think that you should put over there? Well, I think a little introduction to who you are. Maybe what was in your about section on your Facebook page. Maybe yours needs to be updated because I know mine does. But 3 to 5 sentences of you, the person, then 3 to 5 sentences of who you work with and what it is that you do and the problem that you solve for them. And of course, a call to action as well. But I would have all your social media links. That way people would be able to link and find you quite easily. Instagram feature. Jackie shared this one with me. So I wish I could say that I'm responsible for all of these, but you amazing people are finding things and just sending them to me, which is awesome. And I'm just going in and investigating all of it for you. So maybe I should just be like an online marketing private investigator. So with the Instagram feature, this one's pretty cool. So I highly recommend that you go and do this. But on your phone, if you grab it now and you go to, where is it? Because the picture that she actually sent me with the description wasn't right for me. And again, it might be different for Android or Apple. But when you go onto your phone and you're looking at your profile, at the top right-hand side, you've got the settings. So if you click into settings, there's a business tab on my one, although on her one there wasn't. There was another tab, and then it says frequently asked questions. So I went in, and you can have frequently asked questions there, like, what are your operating hours? What is your website? How can I connect with you? But what I saw someone else do, which is really, really cool, is they have as a pop-up. So if you go to DM me on Instagram, this is going to pop up. And they've used the frequently asked questions to actually say what it is that you do and have a call to action. So it's kind of like Facebook auto response messenger. You know how you've got, hey, welcome to the page. There's a greeting. It says, hey, welcome to the page. You can connect with me here, book a call with me here, or I look forward to chatting with you. On Instagram, that's what I've done with the frequently asked questions section. So if you go to DM me, this will pop up. And it only gives you 80 characters per question, but I just wrote the question in 4 different stages. So my first sentence was, hi, I empower business owners with the skills and strategy. And then the second frequently asked question, to successfully manage their own socials. The third one, more time, more customers, no ads needed. And the next one, stalk, subscribe, and book a call here. And that will now pop up. So when someone goes to DM me, that's now going to pop up in Instagram, which is really, really cool. All you've got to do is turn on that little button that says show questions at the beginning of the chat. So when people go to DM you, that's there now, which is pretty cool. So if you haven't done that already, that Instagram feature is amazing.
I don't have it. I don't have it at all.
Okay, so Instagram on your phone.
Yep. Oh, settings. Settings. Is it
Go
settings?
to settings. Yep.
On your business Instagram page?
No, this is on my, I don't think mine's a business. Mine is actually a personal one. Mine is a personal. I don't have a business page for Instagram. Try your business.
Yeah, I found it. Right. So yeah, I got to dive in deeper.
Yeah, go settings and then go business and then go frequently asked questions.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks.
Cool. Okay, cool. So that's a really, really cool feature. Now, I think I got through all those features. Yes. Right. So next thing. The next thing is about the iOS update. And people have been asking about it for the last, I think, month. And I haven't been able to comment on it because I wasn't quite sure what's going on. And of course, I don't really do ads. So, you know, all I can do is keep my nose to the ground. So I've done a little bit of training and just seeing more importantly how it's going to affect organic users, because that's what I care about, right? And basically what it means is that because of Apple and Android and the rollouts that they're doing at the moment, what it means is that instead of there being a 28-day view of what's going on, there's actually only going to be like 7 days of them monitoring your accounts. So it's really going to impact service-based businesses that sell a high-priced offer. So for example, if I sell a high-priced offer and I want to send someone to a webinar and then to like, I don't know, a download, and then maybe my low-priced offer, and then maybe a high-priced offer, there's all these touch points along the way which gives them the time to stalk you online, get to know you. You can kind of retarget them, and then they can make a decision if they're then going to pay the large amount of money. And then in ads, you would be able to track and say where it came from. Because Apple and Android now are going to be tracking the ads themselves. So Facebook can't track. Apple's going to track the ads themselves and send the data to Facebook. There's now like a cutoff line of what's going to be happening. So Apple's going to be tracking the ads and giving the data to Facebook, but there's going to be no breakdown with gender, age, or location, which means your cross your finger marketing with advertising is going to be even bigger now than it ever was before, okay? And Facebook's obviously trying to work around it. But as I said, it mostly is going to impact businesses. And Daryl, if you've got anything, because I know you do quite a bit of ads, if you've got anything to contribute, please go ahead. But they say that it normally takes about 28 days for a person to be touched in multiple places to buy a high-priced offer. Very different for like Daryl with his strikehold, right? It's a low-price thing. You don't really mind making a mistake with that, but say $1,000 product you do mind, so you're going to want to do your due diligence. But basically what it means is that while people are going and they're stalking you online and users are clicking all over the place, there's going to be less data to show where those people are coming from in the step or in the funnel, which is going to make it really difficult to work out what in your funnel is working. So you know how we always talk about the customer journey, and I've been talking about the red, yellow, green system. You can imagine you're not going to know where that red, yellow, green is because you're not getting enough data. And Apple's data to Facebook's not going to be what Facebook's data was. It also means that you're going to have less ad sets, and they're talking about something like only 8 stages can be tracked. So you're going to have to only choose 8 things that can be tracked at a time, which are the touch points. And basically it means that there might be blind spots inside your funnel. So you can't see where people are opting out or where they're staying. So you're going to have to be like a real genius in monitoring this type of stuff. To me, this just shows how specialized this is and how this really is. It makes it really difficult for business owners to be able to do this type of thing themselves. However, you know, Daryl does it, he does it well. And I think with e-commerce products, as I said, I feel like they're going to have greater success, but I do feel that with business coaches and that business coaches and service-based people who are selling their services at a higher price, I do believe it's going to be more difficult. The confidence that I have though, is that the organic side of things more than ever right now is important, because you're not going to get all these stats of what's going on for all those people that were just gambling towards ads and they weren't actually looking after the organic side of things. So they weren't getting their content right, and they weren't looking after the organic growth, and they weren't actually paying attention to their customers and engaging with them, and they were just relying on ads. This is more than ever right now, the organic side of it is really important, because it's going to support the touch points that people are going to get. And when they click off the ads and they go look at you organically and stalk you, there has to be confidence in your product for when they come back in and they buy, because you're not going to be able to retarget them because you're not going to have that data like you used to. You used to have that data. You're now not going to have that data if they click out and click back in again. So the organic side of it more than ever is got to be on point. Let's have a look. What it also means is that if you opt out of an ad, previously advertisers could say that not to show that person the ad. So if Jane was looking at my ad and said like, and opted out and like didn't carry on in the funnel, normally you could say, don't show it to those people again. Now you can't do that. So it will still carry on showing. So for people, it means even if you've opted out of something, you're still going to be seeing those ads, even though you may not be interested. And I'm quite interested to see how that's going to affect people, because if I wasn't interested in a product and that product kept coming up, I'm not sure how that's going to work. And until it actually starts rolling out, I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping people aren't going to report the ads. I hope that they understand their settings, because you can actually stop ads. You know, you can say, I don't want to see ads like this. But by doing that, it's going to show you all ads like that. So say I wasn't the right marketing coach for you, and you say, I don't want to see ads like that, you might not see ads for more marketing coaches. So yeah, I can't give you any more info in that, but it did make me think, how is that going to impact us? So what can you do? Well, firstly, you've got to go into your business manager account and make sure that you verify your domain name. And you may need a developer to do that. So this is like for the techie people who know this sort of stuff. So Jim and Daryl, that's sort of your thing, but you want to verify your domain name in Business Manager, which a developer should do for you. And secondly, you need to go into aggregated events, and you need to prioritize your top 8 that you want to be tracked. Because if you don't do it, Facebook's just going to willy-nilly go in and say, these are the ones that you want to be tracked. And they're just going to put them in whatever order. They need to go from 1 being the most important to you in your funnel, which should be getting the money at the end. So it's not getting them to opt into your free offer. It's actually to get them to buy the product at the end, because else they're not going to track the other stages along the way. So I hope that makes sense, because that's a little bit like, you know, right up there. But for me, it was more a point of what can we do organically, like how's it going to impact us? And out of everything, it just made me think, right now, you've got to get that organic right. You've got to make sure that it is trustworthy and that you get a yes. The third thing of that, what you've got to do is you have a cost cap, because you're only going to get your results. Your results and your tracking are now going to be delayed for 24 hours. So previously you could go in and you could see the results happening. So if suddenly all your ad spend money was going, you would go, you would go and you'd shut it off. Now you're only going to get it a day later. So if you get 1 million clicks in that day, you're going to get $1 million bill. So you want to make sure that you have a cost cap in there, not a day cap in there, because else you could spend a lot of money and then get the results a day later, get that news a day later. All right, cool. So let's just have a look at the chats, just see if anybody has anything to say there. No, we're all good here. Okay. Just copy this down. Cool.
I sent you a photo of the chat box.
Oh, you're a little champion. Thank you. Oh, and Jim, you'll be happy to know that Jen has just messaged me and said that she has bought .com for me. I don't know what to do with it. I've also got DIY social media marketing. I don't know what to do with it though, but I have it.
Yeah. Just redirect it for the time being.
Yeah. Just redirect.
It's for when you become rich and famous, so that nobody steals your identity and blackmails you.
Oh, okay. This is not scripted, but I'm going to tell you. So who knows David Fisher? Fisher. Him and his wife. Oh, they're lovely. They did the 8-week, the very, very first one. They're actually in BX. I've gone blank. Anyway, Sunday morning, I get a friend request from him and I think, that's a bit weird. I'm like already friends with him. And straight away after accepting his friend request, just having a look here. I get a question, how you doing this morning? Question mark. And I'm like, this is a dude that's married to the loveliest lady. They go everywhere together. At like 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning, I wouldn't be getting, how are you doing? Question mark. Straight away went in and had a look, reported the profile and saw that there were probably about 10 other people that had actually added his profile and somebody had stolen his profile. So, so you can actually see on my phone there's actually 2 Davids there. So somebody had started, it says message unavailable. I went in, clicked through to his profile. I don't reply to them. Just clicked through to his profile, reported as a fake profile, contacted David and said, someone's imitating to be you. Please click the 3 dots, find it, click the 3 dots and report it. And straight away the messages were deleted and the profile disappeared. So we need to know how to do these things, guys. You need to know to click into the profile and report and block. You need to do these things. And of course, let someone know as well. So it doesn't happen to other people because they don't know how to do it. Jane, is that a new hand or an old hand? Old hand?
No, that's the old hand. No idea how to get it off now.
I think you just click. Do you click it?
First time I've ever put it on. Oh, lower hand. There we go.
Lower hand. Have you checked out reactions? Because there are a whole bunch of other reactions now. Like you can do like that one. Like a whole bunch of little other ones. Oh, no. I can even say no. That's a new one. We can vote yes and no. That's cool. How do you take it off though? Oh, no.
You've got to actually go up to it and click on it. Oh.
Oh, no. Now I'm messing around now. Oh, it's just disappeared. I don't even know how I did that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Celebration hat, we can have it there. All right, cool. So the next one that I'm sharing with you today is YouTube hacks for organic growth. Okay. This was my Sunday viewing. But YouTube hacks for organic growth. And it's so much like Facebook, but there's a few little things that are kind of different, but it all makes sense. So I wanted to share it with you today. But the average person spends 1 hour a day on YouTube. Okay, so is that you? Do you spend 1 hour a day on YouTube? Because that's not me. So I don't know where those stats are coming from. What I do like about YouTube is that you can click on settings and you can fast watch people and you can also read people. So there's subtitles. If you're not familiar with that, you can click on subtitles, and I actually prefer to read the YouTube videos because I'm a skim reader. So I actually prefer that. And I like to also speed them up so that way I can divulge a lot more information quicker. But number one is, okay, 4 organic growth tips for YouTube. Number 1, stalk who is doing it well. Okay. And that's kind of like what we always talk about anyway. But go in and look at the same industry as you. Okay. So stalk other industries like you who are using YouTube well. You want to click into their video tabs and sort their videos from the most popular in the channel, and it will show you their top most popular videos. And then look at the titles, look at the comments, and see what people are saying. Because if people are liking it and if they're commenting on it, that's content they want to see. And take note of that. Okay, so number 1, stalk. But what was really interesting was the emphasis on reading the comments. This particular guy reads the comments every single day. He does 10 minutes of comment reading. He said from comment reading, you can see what your audience, you can see who your audience are and what they're actually interested in and what they want from you. So don't go stalk, other people, stalk your own industry, obviously. Number 2 is, what are people searching for? Okay. So you've already looked at what people are interested in, your audience, and what they're interested in and what they're replying to and asking comments in. But then you can actually go to a keyword search, which is called answerthepublic.com. Answerthepublic.com. And there was another one called TubeBuddy. And I can't remember what he said about TubeBuddy, but just check it out. And he says it basically gives you that all the questions that people are asking on the internet, because that's how you get ranked. So it's the things that people put into Google, because remember, YouTube is Google. So it's the things that people put into YouTube or Googling. It means you're going to come up. So you need to see what people are searching for so you can create content around that.
Hey, Chantal, can I add to that?
Yes, please.
So we took on an Amazon guy for the US, for Strikehold in the US, and he's refined from 89,000 keywords. Took him 3.5 weeks down to the last 200 that are completely refined. And now we can now go in and stalk competitors and steal their keywords without them even knowing. It's really powerful.
Yeah, excellent. And I'm everyone's going to freak out because of the stealing part. It's actually not stealing. What you're actually doing is seeing what other people are doing and what's working. And if they're paying a lot of money to get their keywords right, those are the keywords you should be using. Like if Gary Vee is using those hashtags and he's got a team behind him and he's paying thousands of dollars to use those hashtags, chances are those are the ones that you should be using if it's the right industry. I cannot say this enough. If it's the right industry, okay? If Daryl goes and he's doing a competitor's analysis on lubricant for sex toys as opposed to Strikehold, that's not going to be the right keywords. They're not going to be the right search words, right?
Well,
So
you'd hope not.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that it is the right industry. So go and search. And I mean, this is what we talk about with the fundamentals of Facebook. Go and stalk industry professionals and see what they're doing on YouTube that's working. Okay, so number 3 is, now this was really interesting for me. He said, if you can understand where traffic comes from on YouTube, okay, then you can understand how to focus and grow your YouTube channel. So there are 4 ways that traffic comes to you on YouTube. 1, it's through people browsing, which means they are scrolling, just scrolling. They're not even searching for you. They're just scrolling, okay, browsing. Number 2, traffic comes from suggested. So once you've watched a movie, once you've watched a video, it says this is suggested for you. So the next one is suggested. The third one is actually people searching. Now that blew my mind, that it was actually only the third source of traffic was from people searching using the keywords. Okay. And that was only 15%. So imagine if your keywords aren't right, you're not even going to get a piece of 15%. And when I say 15, I mean 15, not 50. And the last one was external, meaning people coming from the outside. So for example, YouTube videos on your website, or if you put it on Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere else, okay? Or in an email. So the two most important are the browsing, which is scrolling, and the suggested, and that takes up 75%. So those are the two that you need to be focusing on. And you need to go into your YouTube Insights, which I haven't done yet, but it's on my list of things to do today. Go into your YouTube Insights and have a look at your traffic source types and make sure that plus 50% is coming from suggested or from browsing. And that's your goal. So what does this mean? It means you've got to have a decent video with good content, okay? And when we say that, we're meaning valuable. It doesn't have to be a professional video, but it has to be valuable. Number two is it has to have an SEO title. The title is super important, that it has to be a keyword search SEOable title. And that word I will patent as well, SEOable. See if it gets kicked out my book, like Googleable and ongoingly. Number three, a kick-ass thumbnail. The thumbnail is what gets people to stop browsing. See, I knew that a thumbnail was important, but I didn't understand that it's because 75% of traffic comes from browsing and suggested, meaning that that thumbnail is the thumbnail's sole responsibility is to stop a random person from scrolling. So that kick-ass thumbnail, I'm going to be spending a lot more time on because that is super important. And the next one is the description and the tags, because basically people will go, check out my video, here is my link, call me now. But it is SEOable, meaning it is Google, it is searchable. So just like I always talk about the algorithm, and your content in Facebook needs to be, you know, say the right things to the right person and evoke enough curiosity, the description super important. So I straight away know that my description is not good enough on YouTube. You can put links in there. It's heavily SEOable for the algorithm. So it's important that you have absolutely everything in there, who it's for and why they should look in it and what the call to action should be. And the hashtags that you use are basically the keyword searches. So for example, how to buy a house. It wouldn't be hashtag house. It would be hashtag the question somebody would put in, how to buy a house. Those are the hashtags that need to be used.
You mean hashtags in the description?
In the
video?
description, yes. Okay, so for me, it would be how to get clients on Facebook without paying for ads. Like it has to be how to get clients without ads. But go and have a look at that, answerthepublic.com, and see what people are using. Okay, and see what your competitors are using. Successful competitors on YouTube are using. It's a valuable resource, cheaper than paying to get someone else to do it for you. All right, so that was number three, which was where traffic comes from and understanding that. Number four is audience retention is really important, because the longer somebody looks at your stuff, the higher or the more valuable it's seen to be. Okay. When you go into insights, you want to make sure that it's generally above 50%. That's what your goal is that your audio retention's for 50%, but they've nutted it down to minutes because obviously that makes more sense. So if it's 2 minutes long, you want 50% retention. So 1 minute out of your 2 minute chat that they're staying for. For 5 minutes, it's 47%. For 10 minutes, it's 40%. And for 20 minutes in a video, you want at least 33%. So therefore you know, if you've done a 1 hour long webinar and they're only staying for say 20 minutes, if they're staying for half of that, the retention, you wouldn't be 50%, it would be slightly less than that because it's a lot longer. So his fifth point was understanding impressions versus click-through. So the easiest way for me to explain this is that impressions is basically like a Facebook preview. So an impression means it's come past your face. You haven't clicked on it, but it's come past you. Okay, and that's what a preview on Facebook is. That's an impression. And basically, if you can increase retention, your impressions will go up, your previews will go up. Now, click-through is when somebody stops scrolling and clicks into it. That's a click-through, and that's a view on Facebook, okay? If you want to use Facebook terminology, that just made sense to me. And basically, the thumbnail is what gets that click-through or gets that view. So that thumbnail and the SEO title is super important. And that's basically just reiterating the fact that your thumbnail is important, your SEO title is important, and having a valuable video that people are actually going to sit and watch is important. So number 6 was he always starts everything with a POP message, and the POP stands for problem, outcome, promise. So what is their problem? What is the outcome? And what is your promise to them? And if you can start with that in your script, you will keep them there. You'll get them to stop, look, and stay. And obviously it's got to relate to your audience, right? He was saying, never wing it. Always have an idea. So do your research for your title. Have your top tips. Make sure that it's valuable information and that it is problem focused, outcome focused, and that it has that promise in there. Don't wing it, rehearse it, and make sure that, that it is valuable. So basically, to sum up, when it comes to the YouTube video, stalk people who are doing it right and read the comments of people that like what they see. Number 2, have a kick-ass thumbnail that will stop the right person from scrolling. Number 3, have an SEO title. Number 4 is analyze your data and then make those changes. So if you are not getting enough impressions, it means you have to increase retention, which means your SEO title might not be right. So you can look at that traffic light system again, go red, yellow, green. Where is the problem? What can I change? Can I change my title? Can I change my thumbnail? Maybe my description. I don't have enough SEOable things in my description.
Can I add something to all of that, Chantal?
Please.
So it's been about the last year that YouTube did this, but when you go to upload your video, it will say, is this content safe for children? If you click, I used to always click yes, because my art videos are, I want kids watching them. But by clicking yes, it's safe for children to watch, you are disabling the comments. So you cannot comment on a video that is safe for children. So then I had to go back through them all and start clicking, no, this is not safe for children.
Yeah, wow. Yeah,
just so I could get feedback.
Yes, yeah. Look, for me, I've got my feedback. I have to review my feedback. I know, who was it? Somebody recently, was it Rachel Gascoigne? I think she got feedback. I can't remember. Jim, were you involved in that? I feel like you were involved in that situation. No, someone else got feedback in YouTube. So I've got it that I have to review all the comments, which I highly recommend, but that's a good point. Thank you, Jane, because I didn't realize that if you click that, then it turns off the comments. So thank you for that. Okay, what have we got? We have got, I'm just taking this here quickly. Okay, so that's YouTube. That brings us to the end of everything. And now we can then jump in. And does anyone have any questions before we start? Jim?
Yeah, can I just, you mentioned Answer the Public, which is an incredible resource. It really is phenomenal. But if someone hasn't been there, I know Darryl uses it, but if there's somebody who hasn't been there before, it can be quite overwhelming. And so again, you need to keep focused on, the top 5, the top 10, however you operate. But if you just go straight in there, it will give you so many options. It's very, very easy to get overwhelmed. The resource is absolutely incredible. It really is, but can be overwhelming. And so what I'm saying is don't be put off. Go for it, because it's well worth it.
Are you talking about YouTube?
No, Answer the Public.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And you can only if you don't pay for Answer the Public, you can only put 2 keywords in per day.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the results that you get, it just goes.
Unbelievable.
I think Jim, yeah, that's awesome. And at the end of the day, it's information, right? You've still got to have a strategy. So what is your intention with YouTube? For me, it always comes back to the strategy. What is your strategy? Are you trying to get them to buy a program at the end of that strategy? Who is it for? What is the problem that they've got? So whatever the feedback is that you get, just hold on to that strategy, because that'll bring you back. Okay. Yeah, because else you will get overwhelmed. Like, what am I going to call this video? Yeah, awesome.
Some people don't even know what to call their business. They struggle with that. They get overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's why I went with my name. I just went with Chantal Gerardy. That way, if I change it, it's just my name. So, okay, cool. No worries. Thank you for that. So what we might do then is you'll just get Danielle, I'm going to say it wrong, to come and just talk to us a little bit about this new tool that she's got. And you can share screen if you can. We haven't like prepared this at all. It's just winging it completely. Not like you should your YouTube channel, but we're winging this. But I just had a great conversation, and I do like how it sounds. So I thought I should share it with you. Right, go for your laugh.
Okay, so I'll just talk about reviews and what they are. All right, so what I do is I help business owners get Google reviews and Facebook and TripAdvisor and Trustpilot and TrueLocal and all those sorts of things on the spot and really easily. So the reason why reviews are so important. Okay, so if, do you all have a Google My Business? Okay, so you need a Google My Business to be able to receive Google reviews. So Google has 2 different types of searches. You've got your local SEO, which is your Google My Business, and then you've got your organic rankings, okay? And you don't have a Google My Business attached to that. Your local SEO, your Google My Business, is what you see in the map pack. So if you type in LED lighting near me, someone like Daryl should pop up in that map pack, okay? And that's where you can see the Google reviews. Right. So the reason why this is so important is if you're spending money on marketing your business, through SEO, and you're showing up in that map pack, but you don't have the reviews to get people to trust you, you're not going to get the calls or the clicks, right? So when you're researching someone online, the first thing you do is you look at the reviews. Then you go look at the negative reviews first, because everyone likes to have a reason why not to trust a business. And then you might go to Facebook, you'll have a look at their Facebook testimonials. You might even do a Google search called, Jim's Mowing Reviews, and it will show up all the different places where Jim's Mowing has got reviews, and that will be Trustpilot and TrueLocal and Google and Facebook, right? So you want to have reviews across other areas as well, not just your Google. So the reason why Google reviews are so important is if you're showing up in that map pack and you have more reviews than your competition, one, you're showing Google that your Google My Business is really active. Google loves Google. Google loves itself. It loves YouTube. It loves Twitter. They're all Google properties. So if you've got lots of reviews, you're showing Google that you're using your Google My Business to its full potential. You're also showing potential customers that you are more trustworthy than your competition. And what will happen is if you are out shining your competition with more reviews, you will get more click-throughs, exactly what Chantal was talking about, your click-through rate. So what Google will see is when people ask a question, which is your keyword, say local electrician near me, and a local electrician has got more reviews, more click-throughs, Google will say, right, this is the right electrician to show everyone who asks this search query in this area. So you will get even more visibility because all Google wants to do is to answer your question and give you the right response. So if it's showing different businesses and no one's clicking through to them, it will stop showing those businesses. Does that make sense? Right. So what happens when you've got more Google reviews is you're going to outshine your competition, you're going to get more click-through, which means you're going to get higher and higher in the rankings. The other great reason why you need reviews on different platforms is Google's actually looking at Facebook and Trustpilot and TrueLocal and TripAdvisor and Zomato and all those different review platforms to see if your brand or your company is also active on those other platforms, because they are all highly relevant and they've got high domain authority in Google's eyes. They're a trustworthy platform. So if you've got reviews coming in on all these different areas, as well as your Google, it's showing to Google that you are active, you've got great review velocity, you're trustworthy and you're credible, okay? So I've taken the difficulty out of doing all of this. So if you've got your business listed on all these different platforms, how are you going to send people to all these different areas in one easy go? So if you see your company, your customers face to face, what I've got is a little plastic card and the client has their own phone. This is an Android. So it works on Android and iPhones. With an iPhone, you tap the card on the top. With an Android, you tap the phone on the back and it will open the phone up when my internet starts up. Just like when you scan a QR code, a website will open up. And this is where people can review my business. So I've got Trustpilot, Google, Facebook, and I've also got follow me on LinkedIn. I can also put follow me on Instagram. So you can also get social followers as well. So if you've got your camera there, if you scan my QR code, you can see what my review platform looks like. Yeah. So imagine, you know, you do a face-to-face service, you've run a painting workshop and you've had 10 participants there and you say, oh, would you leave? Oh, sorry, Jim, Daryl, did you want one? So, and you say to your customers, hey, I'd love a review. And they tap the card and all of a sudden they might leave a review on Facebook, they might leave a review on Google, they might leave a review somewhere else. Or they might follow you on Instagram. So you're basically getting people with a really, really easy way to get reviews on the spot. And if they really love you, they might leave you a review on 3 different places all at once. So the other great thing about this is Google loves keywords or search terms. So imagine if you're getting reviews that say great painting or art classes that my children participated in. Now you've just put the search term art classes into your Google reviews. Imagine if that customer also takes a photo of your studio. Okay, you just made that review even stronger. Now imagine if you answered the review and said, we loved having you come along to our Brisbane-based art classes. You've just put in your own keywords into the response. Do you get it? So all of a sudden you are controlling where your customers are reviewing you, what they're saying, suggesting that they add a photo. And then if you're really smart, you also put your keywords back into the response. And you're just making the use of everything. And you're basically doing stuff that your competitors have no clue about, and they're not doing it. So I hope that helps. Now, Chantal's got a link so people can grab them. So if you want it all set up for you, no tech skills, no software, no nothing needed, free cards. It's $194, no more to pay. Go off and outshine your competition. Hi, Jim. I had a question.
When they go to give a review, as I've got on my phone now, thank you very much.
Oh, give me 5 stars, Jim. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, look, my phone's got 6 stars on it. Do they leave one review that gets shared across all those platforms?
No, you have to go into each platform. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I can't force it into all of them because
No.
each platform is its own. Sometimes they will have to log into Facebook. Sometimes they will have to log into Google, and they might get cranky. I can't help that. It depends how your phone, how you're logged into your phone. And some will require, like True Local will require you to have an account before you can leave a review. Trustpilot does not require an account to be there. Or you can just simply send them to a feedback form or a Survey Monkey form. You could even send them to your YouTube channel so that they can be a YouTube subscriber. You can send them to LinkedIn so they can follow you on LinkedIn. So you can use those links to push people to where you want them to go as well.
I think it's fabulous. I think that
Thanks.
I think you've done a great job explaining it, for one thing, but the actual concept I think is just great.
There's no one else doing it in Australia.
Oh, well, that is fantastic. I wish you
Yeah.
huge success because it is really, really clever. Very, very good. Love it. Love it.
Thank
Are you
you.
listening, Adrienne?
I've got a question. And
Sure.
what's the difference between this and something like Linktree?
Well, Linktree is just on Instagram. How are you going to put your Instagram in front of people that you see face to face?
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. And just another comment about don't give people too many options.
Oh, you can only have Google or Facebook.
No, sorry.
There
I'm
if you wanted to.
I'm just talking because I'm in retail, so I've got people coming in. Like what I meant with options is like which one to choose to hit, and think about your target market. Because in my shop, my target, well, like I get a lot of like little oldies coming in. Oh, I don't know which one to click. Which one do I push?
Well, that's where you can push them into it. So yeah.
But it's interesting.
So can you select which platforms are available to them? And
it's whatever you give me. If you've only got Facebook or Google, then you're only going to get Facebook or Google. I'm not going to set up Trustpilot or LinkedIn for you. I can only do what you have already set up.
Yeah.
And the power of the QR code, isn't that amazing how you can hold it up on the screen and then people can get to, you're just like, do it, everybody, here you go. Well done. Well done.
So the QR code's there for people because we all know how to scan a QR code these days. Not everyone wants to tap their phone against a card, and some phones, if they're a bit old, they don't work. The newer phones all do tap.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And I think because it sends people there very easily, it makes it really easy for people to do it on the spot. I often find having Facebook and Google is a good idea, but exactly for the reason that you said earlier, is that sometimes they've got to log in. So when somebody goes, and I only know this because Sandy does this, whenever Sandy does it, like I have everything open all the time. He has everything locked up all the time. So when he goes to leave a review, like he'll go, I'm going to go Google, and he'll be at a restaurant because he loves leaving reviews. I'll leave them a Google review. He'll go in, it'll say, oh, please, can you put your login details? He goes, I'll do it later. I've got no idea. But the fact that straight away next to it, there would be the Facebook link. They would just click the Facebook link and go there and do it. And then they're potentially logged into Facebook. So at least you would get the Facebook one without the Google one. Because I find there's a lot of people that are very Facebook orientated, some that are very Google orientated. What I really like the idea of is, could we use it as an opt-in? So I could subscribe to my newsletter and have that there as well, because that way would be awesome, because that way I would just say, well, here we go, here's my free content calendar, whatever, and you subscribe to my channel or book a call or whatever.
Yep, so you could go to your contact page. So it would go straight to your contact page, and then they would just enter their email and be on your newsletter that way.
Yeah, excellent. Awesome. Yeah, I love it. I think it's really super easy and I love easy. And it's so cheap. It's like $200 or something. And then it's like forever, like that's it, it's done. Can you turn buttons on and off? So say today I'm going to an event and the people I'm going to see, I really want them to leave a LinkedIn review, but then tomorrow I'm going to another event, but I really would like them to leave a Facebook review. Can I hide and unhide, or is it just set up?
No, and I don't love you enough to go in and manually do it for you either.
So we couldn't manually do it ourselves? I couldn't manually
God,
do it.
no.
No,
God, no.
it's horrible.
We were giving people the option where they could put in their own title, and you have no idea the goddamn awful words and spelling that they were putting in there. And it's like, seriously. So no, we just, no.
Are you sure you don't love us enough?
God, no.
Well, there we go. I've got a new business opportunity for you. Charge $10 a month, and then you have the service of 1 hour a month. We're allowed to update whatever it is that we want. And there's a new.
Well, that's it. When we do make this a subscription model, because we will, because when there is an update to Facebook or Google and we have to go through thousands of people to change their links, yeah, I'll be doing it for those people who are paid up. But at the moment, you've basically been grandfathered in at this one-time price. But in future, it will be a subscription model. And I don't know what the pricing will be, but it will still be affordable.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you so much. And we've got a private group, so I'll send it out in my private group, and I'll also send it out in a newsletter as well with an explanation of what it is. So thank you so much for sharing. I know everyone has to rush off. So thanks so much for coming, and thank you for witnessing what we do on a Monday, on Monday Mastermind. And we usually double, if not triple, what we have today. So I think holidays have started early for some people, but have an amazing week. And Jane, please make sure that you get all your members signed up to the subscription base. I don't want you reselling to them at the end of every month. I want them automatically on a subscription.
I know.
I have been up all night thinking about you, please, so I can sleep. Yeah. Automatically, mine is in Stripe. It automatically just takes the money each month. There's no more upselling. It just automatically happens.
I know. I've got to make it happen because, like, even I had a problem with the email going out on Friday, the one that I text you about, and then I got an email from Flowdesk saying we've been experiencing problems in the last 24 hours, and the problem is now fixed, and it should. So I had to resend that email, so it arrived a day late, and it just it was just like, God, the world's against me.
So what that means is, remember I said you get their text numbers so you can text them. You have to. You got to get emails, but nowadays you've also got to get mobile numbers to text people. I do have to go though, guys. It's been amazing, and have an amazing week. And
Thanks,
I will see you all shortly again.
Bye.